Hey, hi everyone, this is Koinzell here. So today I'm going to do a Archer overview video and also share the reason why I did not switch to Archer and I switched to Ludus instead. Well, I mean, barring the emotional factor about the first love part, but for Archer itself, right, one thing about the Archer, right, he's actually very strong in certain areas, but there's one area that he's not good in. So I'll start by talking about the area that he's not good in, which is in PvE. So you see here, this is Archer in PvE. If he is not one-shotting the mobs like what I'm showing right now, you realize that he's not that efficient in killing because the area that he covers, that he can shoot, right, is actually 2 to 3 mobs at one time. Look at this. There are 4 mobs here, but when he shoots, right, he only shoots 2, and then he has to turn and shoot another 2. So his PvE to me is really average at best, unless you're a high CP character. You can one-shot the mobs so high that you can one hit the mobs, right? One skill the mobs, right? Then he is very strong because his skills are very fast. If not, you have this situation here where he's not able to shoot a lot of mobs at one time compared to those melee classes with AoE. This is definitely nowhere near Darkness PvE farming speed for sure. So, but there is an area where Archer is strong in PvE, and that is Banquet. Because Banquet, for what we have now in the version of the Banquet that we have, is that the damage is fixed. You can't even buff it with Hunter Stone. So with this type of fixed damage, right, the skills with the fastest skills with the highest number of hit with low damage will end up being more effective than a skill with 1 or 2 hits with high skill damage. So that is where Darkness is terrible in Banquet, but Archer would then become good in Banquet. But the thing about the rest of the area in terms of PvE, Archer is not good at. So that is an area that I actually don't recommend if you are looking for PvE. But that being said, right, let's go to where Archer is strong in. So Archer is actually very strong in GVG. He's really strong in GVG. It wouldn't be a stretch to even call him the number 1 right now in GVG. Definitely stronger than Huntress. I saw a lot of Huntresses who have already switched to Archers on our server. In terms of GVG, I would say Archer first, Lan second, Huntress third. Because the Lan is still very effective in GVG in terms of taking out the backline, which is the Archers and Huntresses. And the other thing is, in terms of GVG, Lan has a contribution which I have shown in all my Siege War videos. I'll put a couple of them in the link up here. Now those in the Lan, for Lan itself in Node Wars and Siege Wars, her role is very important because she can keep kamikazeing the base, and that is what eventually brings you to a win. Especially in the scenario where you have finished your elephants and your cannons and it's pure player damage. That is where Lan shines. Alright. Now, in terms of GVG, that's my high level ranking. That would be Archer, Lan, then Huntress. There are of course other classes that will be good in GVG, for example Destroyer, etc. But I'll go into that in more detail in future. So we have established that Archer is average in PvE. He is number 1 in GVG. And that naturally means that he's number 1 in Battlefield Sun as well. But because I use controller to play, there is a disadvantage in using controller to play, in the sense that you can't do it like mouse where you can click a far target to lock, for example. You can't click this target, for example, just to lock, as you can see here. So that is where the problem comes in when a lot of the skills that Archer have, right, it will auto attack the nearest target instead of where you are putting your direction to. You can see that most evidently in the Archer in Battlefield Sun video that I did. You can access it in the top right corner here. So basically, there are 2 ways to play Archer in Battlefield Sun. One is you always lock target, you make sure you kill whoever you want to kill, or you can do it another way, which is not to lock target but to just hit whoever is near to you. And the way of better managing that is actually to move your character in front a bit more, further beyond the boss, your own boss. Let's say if you're trying to kill the opponents hitting the boss. But that also means that you need to be more alert. You need to escape as and when required. It's not a case where you can just stand there and shoot. Other than when you're using your super armor, of course, and when there's no one hitting you. But the moment they get on to you, they realize that you are hitting them, killing them, and once they get out on you, right, no matter how high your CP, you will have to retreat. Okay, I'm actually gonna die here, so let me just retreat out of the Hadu map first. Okay, so the thing about the archer in Battlefield Sun, so you need to be able to lock a far target, or you do a lot more movement to and fro to balance that. So that's another way. Now for me, right, that day when I played, right, there was also another issue which till now I know that some players are still encountering. But how they mitigate it? Okay, I'll first talk about the problem and then how they mitigate it. So problem is that when you use archer, you're attacking, and when you try to slide backwards, right, quickly, right, when you do it too fast, for some reason he will slide in front instead of backwards. He doesn't register your direction movement, the direction that you are moving him in. So what my guildmates did, right, in terms of mitigation is that they actually they do the dodge slower, which you can afford to when you're using a super armor skill. And he does have a lot of super armor skills in the GVG and Battlefield of Sun, so it's doable. So those two problems, right, if you're not a controller player, you're using keyboard and mouse, and if you can afford to dodge slower, he's actually very strong in GVG, in Battlefield of Sun and GVG as well. The number one killer in my guild is that super pro murdering devil, right? He's also using archer. He's also getting a lot of kills with his archer. So archer is definitely strong in the GVG. It's just that like I said, right, maybe I did not get a hand of him yet, or I just don't like the whole overall feel of it. That's why I did not change to him. Okay, so the thing about controller is that every time there is a far range skill which auto targets the nearest target instead of where you are pushing your direction to, right, those are the cases where controllers will always suffer. Or you can do what I mentioned, right, where you just go in front, let your skill hit whoever is hitting. That is very effective if you have 5 CP. Because with 5 CP, then you can afford to hit whoever is nearer and still try to kill them, you know what I mean? But if not, right, in terms of the maximum efficiency, it's definitely still better to have the target lock via range clicking. So actually, in fact, I have added 3 spots on my controller setup, right, to, how do I put it, to simulate clicking far target locking. But I have not tried that fully yet, so I probably need a bit more time to try that out, and if that works, then that would be great. And the reason why I'm doing that is because Darkness has 2 far range skills that auto target the nearest target instead of the direction where you are choosing, similar to Archer. So that is why I will have to try out that target lock setup. If it works, then great. But no matter what, right, it will not be as efficient as using a mouse to truly click the target you want to click. That is for sure. Alright. So the reason why I did not change to Archer, simple, is because I do not have the most efficient setup for a far target lock using controller. Number 2, I don't really like the having to wait to dodge. Yeah. And also his PvE is I don't like a character with average PvE. You may think that PvE is not important because GVG is where the actual fun etc is, right? But don't forget that we don't have a level cap now. So without a level cap, right, PvE then becomes very important, because the higher your level, the more CP you have. And we are talking about 100 CP per level after level 80. So take for example my main character being level 94, right, versus my alternate, which is like if you see here, level 70, right. It means that the CP difference just from level alone is 1400 plus 80 plus 50, so 1530 CP difference from levels alone. Alright, so it really makes a difference. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the Archer PvP. Archer PvP is actually very strong. I would definitely call, it wouldn't be a stretch to call him top tier as well. But for me, right, I personally like the Darkness in PvP more. And I'm sure you guys can see from the Darkness PvP video, I was up against a lot of archers, and they were very high rank as well. You can check out the video here at the top right corner. Those archers were very high rank as well. I still managed to win them with Darkness, even though my skill level is not that high. I have to admit, because after all, I only started playing manual in like what, 1 to 2 months. I definitely don't consider myself as a very high skilled player in terms of manual controls. So with that, right, that being said, right, so basically if you are a player who is using keyboard and mouse, you are okay to wait a bit before dodging when using your skills, and your main focus is on GVG and PvP, and you don't mind losing out on the levels in terms of PvE, like your character levels, then the Archer is a very good choice for you. That's the reason why so many people change to Archers, right, on my server. Even in my guild itself, that day where we were commenting in the guild chat, right, it was like all Archers until I spoke that there's a different icon next to the character class. When you speak, there's a character icon, the class icon. So Archers for sure are very strong. Top tier. Archer top tier in GVG and PvP, average in PvE. So because that's the main and the other reasons that I've stated is the reason why I'm not using Archer. Now I will end the video I will end the video with a bit of a Archer PvP, just to show how he fares in PvP. His damage is very high, and his super armor skill is very good. This one is a super armor skill. You see how long he's standing there shooting. That makes a lot of difference in the PvP. Alright, so I'll just showcase a couple of benches. Do excuse the if it doesn't look very smooth, it's because that video, right, was taken on the very first day Archer was released. I was trying him out. Yeah. Alright, so thanks everyone for watching, and I'll leave you guys with the Archer video, Archer PvP, probably a couple of rounds. And if you like the content, remember like the video and click subscribe for more. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you next video. Bye.